Trafficking is right under your nose. We're about to show you why you might walk right by without noticing. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes traveled to New Orleans with a team of volunteers looking to rescue sex slaves.
Regular citizens travel to the Super Bowl each year to investigate the dark side of sports tourism. They are finding young girls, some who were reported missing. They go to the Super Bowl because that's where men are buying little kids.
It's like the perfect storm. You have all of these different elements come together that's just going to drive the demand.
Brad Dennis is the search director for Class Kids. He came to New Orleans to rescue girls.
2,200 children are reported missing every day in the United States. That's an awful lot of kids out there on the streets for predators to take advantage of.
He and Nita Bells are key members of a large group of volunteers and coalition members.
See the gal out front?
Split up into about a dozen teams, they hit neighborhood by neighborhood in New Orleans.
Past Charter Street coming this way.
To the other side of the bay in Gulfport, Biloxi, they're feeding intelligence to joint task forces in both states.
They're all three in that block?
Biloxi Police Sergeant Alden Helmert is one of the point men.
When we're able to have citizens step up to be our eyes and ears, it provides us a great deal more resources.
While tourists may believe a stripper's smile is a sign she's choosing the lifestyle, the trained advocates and police investigators know it could be a trick.
The outward appearance is selling a product, so the person realizes for them to be sold, they have to be attractive to the public.
Then we witnessed it. A stripper who seemed content, then a man grabbed her waist hard. You can hear her squeal. The man walked away with a wad of cash in hand.
That is a way of maintaining control, and although she objected to it, she obviously from her response knew she had no recourse.
The group narrowed in on this corner as a potential hotspot for sex trafficking, which really surprised us because we're surrounded by lots of people and lots of police officers. Potential signs included hurry girl struggling to make eye contact. Then we found these two. One of them looked like a baby.
Her face was young, her body was young, her mannerisms were young. She was running around like a little girl would run around with her girlfriend, and taking those little, you know how a child will walk and then they get in a hurry and they just run those steps, and she was doing that.
We watched her talk to two men in this bar. The men watched the girl while working their phones. Then the young girl walked out alone, eventually into a car with Texas plates. A man on a phone followed at a distance and got into the same car. The advocates snapped photos, took down a plate number, and sent it back to command headquarters. These volunteers gather intel, but stay out of the way, partly to protect the victims.
They're being watched. And I don't look like somebody that's going to bring her pimp money. And so I would be a distraction, and I could get her in trouble or maybe even killed.
On the same side street, we found a mysterious door watched by this camera. On the door, step-by-step directions like face the camera, pull door handle, and do not allow anyone to walk in behind you. We soon saw two men exit that door to disappear into the neighboring liquor store. Numbers are still coming in, but this operation has rescued at least 15 girls, one who was reported as missing. Nita Bells first began working the streets after researching her book, In Our Backyard, which we found to be the case here in St. Louis when investigating pimps luring high schoolers right here. Learn more about what you can do, Bells' book, and our previous investigations by clicking on fox2now.com. For the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.
Along with Chris's report, we also have a hotline for those in need and more interview clips with Bells and more information on search efforts. Again, that's on fox2now.com.